Test, test, test. Woo! Morning, everybody. Good morning. It's Friday. Yeah, Friday. Good to see you all. Welcome to Formation. I am not Michelle, if you do not know. I'm Nick. Michelle's gone. Welcome. We're glad to see you. We have a couple quick announcements. One is tonight at 8:30 is a Take Back the Night event, which you should be pretty familiar with because we've been announcing it for weeks, right? But 8:30 tonight, any faculty, staff, employees, we would love to have you join us as well. Students, we just want to join together, and kind of the whole premise around this is like taking back the night, helping us all feel safe on campus and in our place, even at night in the dark. So come stand together. There'll be kind of like a march and then some stuff at the campfire at the end. Yeah? Are we still doing the campfire? That's not in here, Abby, but I think there's stuff at the campfire. Yes, perfect. Okay, good. Okay, and last, we're celebrating us next week. Michelle, one of the formations, if you could and would create just a 1 to 2 minute video, short video about something that's happened this year and send that to Michelle by Friday, April 26th. That would be awesome. And we're going to put all those together and watch them together here in Formation. Cool? All right, Emma has a very quick, she's going to draw the winner for the duck competition that happened this week, and I lost because I never found my partner.
So everyone's names is in here, I swear. Thank you all for participating. It was actually a great event. I'm really happy with how it turned out. Don't get mad at me if you don't get drawn. Okay. I can't. I'm not going.
You're not gonna look.
Okay, this one. Nikki and Bethany with Duck 27.
Whoa!
So I have the gift cards. If you come see me, I'll get it to you.
Perfect. Thanks, Emma. So the rest of today formation is Acuity, and Miriam is going to be leading that, so I'm just going to turn it over to her. Thanks.
Good morning. I'm Professor Barton. It is my honor to preside over the Acuity Writing Contest and publication. Thank you all for coming and supporting your student writers. Also, to those of you who submitted to the writing contest but may not be receiving recognition today, thank you for participating. Keep writing. Your voice is important. Your perspective is valued. It's absolutely standard for pieces to not be picked up by publishers sometimes, and the important thing is to keep writing, keep revising, and keep trying. Please note that Lucas Peel won the miscellaneous category with his piece titled Defining a Valuable Teammate. He's unable to be with us today because he is participating in what his essay is about. He is traveling with the baseball team at this moment, I believe. Also, please note the correlating artwork that will be on display as the winners do their readings. They were all done by Professor Cross, and they are beautiful. This artwork will also be published in the Acuity magazine along with their respective pieces. Professor Cross has graciously and generously provided a copy of each piece to be given to the students at the end. Thank you so much, Josh. At the end of the readings, awards and recognitions will be given out. We will now have the reading of the winners in each of the categories. They will proceed as follows. Elsa Renu for Burnt Toast, Drew Gomes for Results Day, and Joy Wijaja with Nicotine and Ethanol.
Hello everyone. I will be sharing a poem I wrote about my experience with colorism and racism growing up, and although sharing this is a little scary for me, I hope you're able to feel what some kids have to experience as people of color. This poem is titled Burnt Toast. When I was young, my mother always told me to stay out of the sun, to wait for the sun to grow weak before I go out with my friends to have fun. On hot days, she'd clothe me in long pants and long sleeves, lathering me in sunscreen. Wanting nothing more than to play freely, I never understood why on this she was so keen. Mama, can I just not? What happens if I play in the sun anyway? I'd whine and I'd frown. No, I don't want you to become dark, casually, she'd reply. You're already brown. What could possibly be so bad about being dark or brown, I thought. It wasn't until I grew older that I realized the reality of what we were never taught. Young and innocent, I found myself lost in a pool of every shade resembling white, wondering why everyone around me was considered pretty just because they were light. I grew up thinking there was something wrong with me to have skin the color of burnt toast, despising myself for something over which I had no control. To be lighter is what I wanted most. I'd look in the mirror and all I'd see is ugly. Ugly skin, ugly hair, ugly eyes. Ugly, ugly, ugly. The crippling weight of my insecurity made every public appearance anything but lovely. I'd clothe myself in long pants and long sleeves, lathering myself in sunscreen. I'd layer on a jacket and socks, understanding why on this my mother was so keen. Elsa, seriously, you need some vitamin D now, said my mom. She'd whine and she'd frown. No, I don't want to become dark, casually, I'd reply, with a tear in my eye. I'm already brown. What could possibly cause a teenager to simply not want to leave her room, she thought. It wasn't until I grew older that I realized the reality of what we were never taught. A reality so bitter and yet so prevalent that we dare not address, because who wants to bear the fault for needlessly making another feel less? Whispered behind closed doors and in empty corridors, all the uncles and aunties know. Status, privilege, opportunity, and power come easily to those with skin as white as snow. It's no wonder we grew up bleaching our identity with natural home remedies and creams, as though a problem we were solving, a leap we were taking to achieve our dreams, dreams of being lighter and therefore better, of being respected and being admired, dreams which really shouldn't be dreams at all. Of such dreams, I am tired. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I wrote this piece because where I'm from, external exams really dictate how intelligent you are. And if you don't really succeed in them, you're classified as a fool throughout the whole island. So this was something that really stood out to me when I was asked to write a narrative for the competition. So, results day. The day that could break or make any secondary school student. August 17th, 2018, a dark and gloomy evening. Though with little or no cloud cover and the sun shining with pride, a heavy and thick feeling came over the whole class of Form 5 Science as we waited for what results would pop up in the shining box, as bright as freshly cleaned teeth which held our future in its hands. Adriel, my best friend, and I had a conversation predicting what grades we would get and what gruesome events would occur if they fell below our parents' expectations. Drew, my breath is as shallow as a prize-winning stallion trolling on my chest at the finish line. My heart is fluctuating like a roller coaster going through the ups and downs of its course. Do you think we will make it? I responded like a strong and proud lion. Of course, we are intelligent. Deep down, I could hear my heart pumping profusely. But I wanted to show confidence. As the time neared, I opened the portal with my mother peering over my shoulder. Her anticipated harsh criticism mirrored the height of the Eiffel Tower. I could feel her powerful breath making its way down my spine, giving me chills that made me tremble. I typed my portal login to access my grades. The light shining box, just loading with no end in sight, my heart raced at 100 miles per hour, and the miniature Niagara Falls puddle formed in my lap. Finally, the time came. My cheeks moved from a standstill to a chimpanzee's grin. The sun shone proudly on my head, removing the apprehension that had a tight hold on me. I saw, Drew Gomes, you have just passed all your 13 subjects. My mother's menacing wrath and authoritarian striking breath turned into glee. My stress instantly dissipated. I made it. Thank you.
nicotine, and ethanol. Alcohol is not what it used to be anymore, not for me at least. The thrill of drinking underage with friends and that sense of taboo is no longer there. Maybe it's because I'm not acting against the law anymore, but I've become desensitized. Favela is the last bar for miles in the city's cesspool to serve drinks with crystal glasses. Since everything has become metal or synthetic composite, you don't really see glass nowadays. Pure silica glass has been reserved for the wealthy. Yet somehow this bar located quite literally in a hole in the wall of a massive wall surrounding the city has them. I digress. The only reason I'm here is because I'm not sure how to cope with both of my parents passing. Processing feelings have never been my strongest suit. Coping mechanisms from childhood have made me almost incapable of doing such. Yet despite that, I am gifted with self-awareness, well enough to recognize that I need to take some time and thoroughly soak in what's at hand. They didn't die a horrible death. They passed away peacefully in their sleep, ironically a week apart. It seemed as if they were close, but they never were as far as I could remember. Constant bickering and mental abuse between the both of them. One would assume I'd be used to it at this point. Yet somehow my heart still pounds in fear every time. I had gotten caskets, well, capsules to be exact. I couldn't afford a proper casket and a burial in the soil as much as I wanted to. Though they weren't perfect parents, they still somewhat deserve respect after their deaths. However, one could argue bringing their parents' ashes to a bar and inducing self-intoxication is respectful. Fitz? Oh crap, someone's talking to me. Why would anybody talk to me right now? A pathetic man drinking alone with 2 cremation capsules next to him. I need to muster up a response. Are you done with your drink? We're about to close now and I need you to leave. It dawned upon me, I've been here for 4 hours now. It's a miracle that my mind is still working, but my body is fading fast. With my best efforts, I commanded my muscles to obey my will, and after a few steps, my consciousness slipped, and I gracefully embraced the hardwood floor with a loud thud. Fitz would be an excellent word to wake up to if it was from a lover. Sadly, that tone is easily recognizable. Becca's voice, dare I say, is the primary allure of favelas. Her tone is that of a siren drawing you closer to her feast, and her words could breathe life into dead souls. Many come and gather around her bar, seeking to find comfort in their interaction with her. It's a way to alleviate the pain of existence, I suppose. 5 more minutes. I recognize the smells of her apartment. It's not the first time I've been here. Becca had her vocal cords and lungs enhanced with cybernetics to negate all of the harmful effects of smoking. Despite her best efforts, her apartment always had a thick atmosphere. Maybe from the nicotine adhering to the walls and furniture, maybe from the damp and toxic fumes that leak inside from the countless factories. No, you need to get up now. You'll be late for work. Ah, yes, the joy of becoming a mindless slave to corporations. I haven't told her yet that my job was no longer suitable. I haven't set foot at work for about a month yet, and knowing her, she'd be worried. I called in sick yesterday. I met her a few years back, walking back home. We had bumped into each other. She spilled all her coffee on me, and I told her told me to come to her bar that night as an apology, and we hit it off. It felt like we were meant for each other. As cliche as that sounds, yet there was this sense of comfort I found in her that I could never find in anyone else. I couldn't even look people in the eye when I was talking to them most of the time. Maybe it's how she spoke to me. Perhaps I was just another customer. We've had intercourse a few times now, but we're still nothing more than friends. We could have been lovers had I been more open about my feelings. And now she is hopping between relationships and talking to me about her worries. I am forever stuck on the guidelines until I take a stand. Clothes are scattered throughout her apartment, and the walls are decorated with age-peeling paint. A mug from the campaign period filled to the brim with cigarette butts and ashes provides me some comfort as my tongue is sour, a sign of nicotine withdrawal. Down to my last 4. It doesn't matter anyway. Nothing beats a hungover nicotine head rush. It has been about a decade now since I started smoking, and it has provided me with some sense of peace and grounding ever since. Unfortunately, it's getting expensive as synthetic tobacco does not do the job, and neither does electronic cigarettes. There's something about a paper filter that leaves a slight hint of sweetness around my lips, and the foul smell of carcinogens help me. Nothing works better than a sense of impending doom to make one feel alive. To my surprise, all my clothes are still on me. There had been regrettable moments where I had made advancements on her while intoxicated, which led to an awkward morning. It's currently 1500 Standard Time, and it's best if I start heading back. I wouldn't want to overstay my welcome, although she probably wouldn't mind. I need to take my parents home. The streets are pretty timid around this time. Alleyways are covered with all sorts of muck, from feces to mixed concoctions of multiple toxic wastes. Thankfully, the sidewalks are still blessed with some sunlight during my walk back home. The concrete below me was littered with tiny craters and cracks, providing an organic sense of a life-sucking jungle made by man. The smell of sweaty clothes and evaporating bottles of beer violently intruded my nostrils. I drank myself to sleep for a few nights in a row before deciding to pick up their bodies from the morgue. News of their death was supposed to be joyous and relief, yet instead I was tortured by my past. I am burdened with countless questions about my childhood and who I am now, isolated as a child and unable to properly communicate and make friends from an early age. Was that my fault, or my parents for not noticing? Always in the background and distant from other people. The few times I do make friends, my parents decide they're not worthy of me. Am I the result of my choices, or am I the result of my environment? Overthinking is never good for anybody. Cleaning will help calm my mind. Should have done this ages ago. Loading up the laundry and having swept and mopped most of the place left me to my thoughts again while I waited for the machine to finish. Why am I distracting myself with all these other tasks? I need to focus on the one at hand. I picked up my parents and headed to the nearest cliff facing the ocean. I decided to take the metro there, and as we started fading away from the city, there were no longer constant adverts, vehicles bustling, and it became deafeningly silent. The rumbling of the tracks provided some comfort for all of us, as we all are adapted to noise. The afternoon sun kissed the car, a warmth that is not commonly felt envelops us all. Working men with their workwear covered in all sorts of stain solemnly stare at the bottom of their boots, hoping to find some sense of relief in them. Sadly, very few find that relief. They are met with a cold, emotional slap of reality that things will never change, and many hold a bottle of artificial warmth in their hands to ease the chill. I impulsively texted Becca, if anything happens, then at least someone will be able to find my body. Dying alone and vanishing to oblivion without any recognition is the worst crime any human can commit. As I reach the end of my trip, I glare into the waves below me and pray for the souls I'm about to release. My father was a stern man. He enjoyed food like it was his last, and was always eager to try new things. His novelty was his saving grace. His laugh and smile comforted me on some nights. Knowing he lived his happy moments, he provided me with much comfort during my troubled times, and I can only hope this will provide him with some, as his son affectionately disperses his ashes. Goodbye, Father. I should have said this more, but I love you. As for you, Mother, I did not know you. You chose my sister over me. For years, you neglected me and left me to my own. Jealousy sparked inside me whenever you boasted about her to your friends. You called me a bastard son. You have yet to show me your love all these years. Alas, I will smoke a cigarette in your honor. I know how much you despise the smell of burning tobacco. So in irony and spite, this one is for you. Perhaps it is also my time to go. 2 more cigarettes left. It's a shame I can't share my last with someone else. As I was about to light it up, a distant crumpling of dirt seemed to approach. It sounded like they were in a rush. Fitz? My hands trembled. It slipped through my hand and now was forever lost at sea. Why would she be here? I texted her 2 hours ago and it takes precisely that amount of time to drive here. What about the bar? Did she come here as soon as she got the text? She said, I'm glad I wasn't too late. What do you mean too late? I'm just here to spread ashes. She reached for me and embraced me in her arms. For a moment, the world fell quiet, and my mind crumbled. It was as if an open field embraced me in its soft, sun-baked grass, soothing my aching back. She looked me in the eyes with love, what a soulmate would have for their partner. How'd you know what I was thinking? I heard from your supervisor. He came by looking for you, said you haven't shown up and worked for days. Ah, Frank. He was always kind to me, despite the stigma that comes with his position. Care to share your last cigarette with me? You can decide what to do after. I'd love to. And there we sat, shortening our lifespan, but stretching our moment together.
Thank you. Those were beautiful. Okay, I'd like to recognize the winners with their awards, please. Elsa, Drew, Joy, come on up here. I've got your art pieces, and also they each have won a $25 gift card to Barnes & Noble. I would also like to recognize the students who will also be published and have earned an honorable mention in the Acuity contest this year. They are Bree Hatch and Garrison Cobb. If they could both come up here. Is Garrison here today? Thank you, and I'll turn the time back over to Professor Ladd.